Palantir is a software company that specializes in converting data into actionable insights. They have a software called Gotham, which is built for governments and intelligence agencies, and that's used for crime prevention, counterterrorism, and even for military activities as well. And I'll go into a little bit more detail into that in this video. Palantir CEO Alex Karp has had meetings with the Ukrainian President Zelensky, and you can see on the Palantir website, it states, in this conflict, the Ukrainians are successfully using our software against the Russian army. And on the BBC website, it also says that Palantir, a large US data analysis company, was one of the first Western tech companies to aid Ukrainians' war effort. It started by providing software to improve the speed and accuracy of its artillery strikes. Now it has given Ukraine new tools to plan its long-range drone strikes. And you can see right here on the Palantir website as well that their Gotham software, so their software which is specifically for governmental institutions, was also used to enable the elimination of Osama bin Laden and apparently plays an important role in preventing Islamist terrorism. And so Palantir's Gotham software can pull data from surveillance cameras, satellites and drones, and even radars. And what radars do is that they track military jets, drones, missiles, ships and submarines as well. And with that, it helps to prevent cyber attacks, optimize military operations, and even save lives in disaster recovery as well. And Foundry is the second software that Palantir offer their customers, and this is more focused around business and business operations. Foundry will use data analysis and develop insights from the data which is pulled from different systems all into one place, and it will provide recommendations. It can even automate tasks and help achieve decision making much faster. Amazon Web Services, the National Health Service in the UK, the US Air Force, the Department of Security, Morgan Stanley, Merck and Ferrari are all clients who use Palantir software. And there's no doubt they've had an incredible run in the stock market. You know, they've entered the S&P 500. Alex Karp has also been incredibly bullish with the stock in his end-of-year address to Palantir shareholders.
We got into the S&P, which is a sign of the juggernaut that our products created. We are at the core of making the obvious superiority of the West not just a moral platitude, but a factual reality.
And with the recent announcement of DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, there's been a lot of hype, a lot of speculation, if you like, about a potential collaboration between Palantir and the government. Now, there is already an established relationship there. They are already working with government institutions or government organizations. And it doesn't just stop there. Elon Musk, who's heavily involved in DOGE, has a long-standing relationship with Peter Thiel, one of Palantir's co-founders, because Thiel and Musk actually go way back and were two of the co-founders of PayPal. And funny enough, if you look closely at this photo, you can kind of see that on the bank cards, the PayPal bank cards in this photo, in the top right-hand corner, it actually says X.com. And this is actually because Musk wanted to call PayPal X, before, you know, he's recently changed the name of Twitter to X right now. Musk invited Joe Lonsdale, who is another of the co-founders of Palantir, onto the Department of Governmental Efficiency.
Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and others are part of this government efficiency, DOGE program, well named, I guess. And you've been involved with all of these people. What do you think's going to happen there, and what's the goal there?
You know, our government is the least efficient part of our society. There are literally trillions of dollars wasted on things you constantly see, Walter, when we, tens of billions of dollars for something that never happens with, electric charging infrastructure, hundreds of billions of dollars for a train that basically just pays money to lawyers, but doesn't actually build much at all. The list goes on and on and on. There are so many parts of our society where the cost is going up because government's involved, and it's crushing the middle class. It's crushing the working class.
Are you going to be involved?
I have a lot of my really good friends involved, and I've passed them a bunch of ideas, and I'm publishing a bunch of ideas. And I'm going to keep having conversations with them. I have a full-time job.
And so with this connection between Musk and Peter Thiel, with Musk's connection with Joe Lonsdale as well, this narrative or this speculation around further involvement between Palantir and the Department of Governmental Efficiency has encouraged a lot more speculation and discussion, and kind of to a degree, rightly so. And so this could be one of the reasons that's contributed to Palantir's stock price, which you can see here, and also the price to earnings ratio, which at the time of this video is 328. But with a price to earnings ratio of 328 at the moment, anyone buying at the current price is willing to pay $328 for every $1 of return in earnings by Palantir. But for context, the average price to earnings ratio for a company in the S&P is typically probably around 25 to 30. And in the end of year address, like I mentioned with Alex Karp, and we've seen the footage by Joe Lonsdale, all I keep looking at is back at this price to earnings ratio to a degree. Looking back at the past, when you've heard narratives in previous kind of bull runs or periods of euphoria and excitement where investors or other people have said that this time is different, that things are very different with a stock or a new technology, and that conventional metrics no longer apply. And in the backdrop of some very bullish and confident statements by Addicts Corp, Palantir insiders have actually been selling up stock.
We've been pulling data from SEC filings, which does show that the Palantir stock underperformance has coincided with a bit of insider selling, all pre-planned, but worth noting around $45 million so far this year. Separately, investor Kathy Wood sold about $15 million worth of stock.
And so, as you just heard from CNBC, there's been a $45 million pre-planned sale by Palantir insiders. And as you can see here, Stephen Andrew Cohen, who is an insider of Palantir, sold 450,000 shares. Shyam Sankar sold 5,250,000 shares for a total value of $367,920. Palantir's director, Alexandra Schiff, sold 4,000 shares, an average price of $71, netting over $286,000. And insider Ryan Taylor also sold 123,000 shares for a total of $5.5 million as well. And so Palantir have had an outstanding year, and a number of insiders have capitalized on the excitement with the stock and the narrative around DOGE and a potential partnership there to sell up at quite a high price and quite an exorbitant price to earnings ratio as well. Fundamentally, it's clear that Palantir deliver an incredible service and fundamental technology which is really helping businesses and the American government to gain substantial competitive advantages. Nonetheless, I don't think any company is kind of immune to using rational metrics to identify whether we consider them to be overvalued or trading at a fair price. Certainly with the narrative around DOGE, with the links with Palantir and the American government, plus the stuff I mentioned around Musk, it's why we find ourselves in cyclical bubbles of this nature. And it's why Sir John Templeton, who was a famous American-British investor and banker, stated the four most dangerous words in investing are "this time is different." And we just have to look at historical patterns of the past, know that the market operates in cycles. I've covered in other videos kind of observations and metrics that I'm looking at to kind of evaluate where I think the economy is going. And I certainly think that in the future there will be kind of ample opportunity to capitalize on a number of these different stocks, whether it's Palantir, whether it's Nvidia, whether it's kind of some of the other AI or quantum stocks, simply because the market operates in cycles, and it's very important not to get too caught up in, the media, the mainstream media's narrative around these stocks, especially when you consider that the mainstream media are potentially feeding you one narrative, but then fundamentally, when you look at the behavior of certain insiders at Palantir, they're behaving very differently to the narrative which is being fed by the mainstream media. But there are discussions and question marks around the state of the economy in the US and in the UK, especially with those kind of metrics or those indicators that I've mentioned in previous videos. But thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. All the best.